Well, good morning, now afternoon, everybody. It's noon, so we're going to go ahead and get started just so we can allow some time at the end to answer questions for you all. There is a Q&A feature down at the bottom of the screen. So if you have any questions throughout this presentation, we're going to be going over a lot of information. And so if you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them in that Q&A feature. We'll be getting to them as we're going through the presentation. So just try to be patient with us. We'll hopefully get through all of them by the end of the presentation today. So wanted to go ahead and get started with some introductions. My name is Jennifer Jackson. I'm one of the transfer advising coordinators here at JMU. I work primarily with students up in Northern Virginia, so from Northern Virginia Community College, but I again work with students from transferring from all over the state, all over the country. So that's really exciting. I'll let Kate go ahead and introduce herself. And then I just wanted to say, you see a lot of names up here. This is our whole transfer advising team. So not everyone is with us today, but Kate and I are here to chat with you a little bit this morning.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kate Mcdaniel. I am the other transfer advising coordinator. I work primarily with the community colleges in the Valley. So Blue Ridge, Laurel Ridge, Piedmont. But as Jennifer said, I work with any transfer student from anywhere as well. Nice to have you all here today.
All right. So again, as Kate said, we're thrilled to have you all with us today. Congratulations on your acceptance to JMU and making this transition from your previous university or community college now over to JMU. We're thrilled that we're going to be seeing your faces on campus in about a month, which is hard to believe that fall semester is right around the corner. We want to start going over a couple things on these first few slides about just navigating the change, because this is a big change. You know, whether you're coming from a four-year institution or whether you're coming from a community college, JMU is going to be different from the previous place you came from. And so just want to go over a little bit about those next steps. So for many of you, you're coming from either an outside university or the community college system. And so what's neat about JMU is we've seen transfer students come from all over different four-year universities, and a lot of students also coming from within the Virginia Community College system here in the state. So for students coming from within the community colleges, a lot of you all, you know, graduated high school and decided you wanted to spend, you know, whether a year or 2 years still at home and taking courses at your local community college. And so for many of you, that was staying, you know, either living at home or staying at home just to finish up some of those additional general education requirements, and focus on those 2-year associate's degree programs that are going to help you gear you toward your 4-year degree of choice now that you're here at JMU. A lot of those community colleges, you're going to find and have found that they are more flexible in their schedules, right? Especially over these last 2 years, as we're still navigating post-COVID and what you know everyone's been going through. So for a lot of you, you may have been doing some online classes the past couple of years. You could have been going part-time, full-time, balancing work and things like that. And so, you know, a lot of you coming from the community colleges coming to JMU now is definitely going to be a bit of a change. And then from the 4-year side, the admission to 4-year universities tends to be more selective in admissions for those of you who went straight out of high school to a 4-year university. Those degrees are a little bit more broad. And so there's many more majors, more programs that really focused on that area. And hopefully some of you also coming not only from the community college or the 4-year have already taken some of those strong general education requirements. Universities offer baccalaureate degrees, master's degrees, and doctoral degrees. And they tend to be less flexible in those class offerings, right? So many 4-year institutions, it's pretty traditional brick and mortar, going to class Monday through Friday, and sitting in those lecture halls and things like that. And so JMU, if you've come from a community college where, again, you've had some online classes, now that you're here, many of those coursework and those classes are going to be in person. So this slide has a lot of information on it. I'm just going to touch on a few things that we really want you to take away from this slide, most of which being this This information came from a study that was performed back in 2021, where 500 employers were surveyed asking what they want to see in new employees. So students coming out of colleges, whether it's your baccalaureate degree, your master's degree. And these are some of those skill sets that employers really emphasized that they wanted to see from students coming out with those degrees. So as you're looking at some of these, those that we really wanted to focus on are some of those broad skills. So not just having the skills only within your degree program, but really having that large liberal education, having those broad skills, whether you also, while you're here at JMU, participate in internships, have jobs while you're also trying to earn your degree. And so really having a large set of skills that make you really marketable. The workforce preparedness, the breadth and depth of your degree is really important. I think what's really interesting to know, and it was something that I learned as we were going through this presentation over the summer, is that by the age of 39, most people have an average of 10 to 14 jobs. So if that doesn't say something, that means that a lot of people are changing their tracks of what they want to do, changing their fields, changing their careers many, many, many times, which is why what you learn here at JMU and those skills based is really, really important, because it's just going to make you that much stronger to employers as you're looking for those jobs. So we really want you to get excited now that you're here at JMU. Navigating how JMU is going to be a little different over the next couple slides. We're going to talk about just how, again, as I said before, I think it's a common misconception that if you've been to a four-year university before, let's say you're coming from another four-year, that JMU may be an easier transition because you've already been to a four-year university before, but we know that's not the case. We've worked with students for many, many years, and the common theme is, we don't know what we don't know, because JMU is a new place, right? And there's new lingo and there's new terms, and, you'll find that every campus is a little different. And so we want to help you navigate your time and your experience here now that you're at JMU. So a little bit about your degree. Hopefully you've seen some of this because we put it in those transfer modules in Canvas. So hopefully a lot of this is still going to be a review as you went through those, but every degree here at JMU is comprised of these four different areas that make up this pie chart. So you're going to have your general education requirements, which are going to be that core curriculum. That makes up about 41 credits of your coursework here at JMU. You have your major requirements, so those requirements for your degree. And then you have your degree requirements. So whether you're pursuing a bachelor's of art, a bachelor's of science, a bachelor's of business administration. So there's a number of different degrees here at JMU that you'll be pursuing depending on your degree. And then the light purple chunk there in that circle, which is really important, is focusing on those electives. And so we'll go over a little bit later your transfer credit report. And some of you may have questions about how some of those 000 credits are factoring into your JMU degree. We just want to emphasize that you need some electives within every degree at JMU. And so electives aren't a negative thing. Electives help build that degree to get you up to the 120 credit minimum to graduate. They help expand that knowledge base. They're unique courses that you all are taking that kind of expand outside of just your very focused degree requirements. And so electives are really an awesome opportunity to just expand out some of those interests that you have now that you're here at JMU. This slide must be a little slow. So navigating the general education program. So for those of you who are coming to JMU from the Virginia Community College system and have an approved transfer degree, you will earn the general education waiver, which means your general education courses are satisfied once you get to JMU. For those of you who are coming from outside of Virginia Community College, maybe you went to a community college, anywhere else in the country, you're coming from another four-year institution, you very well may still have some general education courses to complete. And these general education courses at JMU were developed to be very unique, and every cluster and every group has different learning objectives. So for those of you who have already started checking out some of those clusters, you'll see like cluster 1 has a critical thinking component. There's a communications course. Under cluster 2, there's visual performing arts. There's a section called human questions and context. You have your sciences, your math. So a very broad-based general education program that's going to cover a lot of unique subject areas. That's just going to build that JMU degree. So those of you who are coming without that general education waiver, we really encourage and strongly recommend that you try to complete all of cluster 1 within your first semester if possible here at JMU. So what we've done, because we have seen over the years that many students come to JMU and you have a communications course done, right? Like you may have a public speaking class or a communications course. Many of you have writing, so you've done an English composition class, but a lot of students are lacking in that critical thinking requirement. And so what we did here at JMU a few years ago is develop these 300 level integrative courses that are very unique topics, specifically based on things that are going on right now in the world and in our country, that are going to cover that critical thinking cluster 1 gen ed requirement. And so you'll see here some of these UNST courses with these unique topics. For those of you who have junior or senior status and you're interested in taking one of these UNST courses, or you still need that critical thinking course, we encourage you to take a look at these if you still need that. Even if you don't need it necessarily, but you're looking for a gen ed option, or not a gen ed option, excuse me, elective option, these are really cool courses to choose from as well, if you're still needing to fill a full-time schedule. So a few important reminders about transfer enrollment. Hopefully, again, as I said before, that a lot of this is a refresher for you all. You've already went through those transfer modules. You've spoken to your advisor. You've enrolled in some classes already. You'll have time to adjust that schedule today. Your enrollment is open today, and it will close tonight at 11:59. And so throughout the day today, you'll have time if you feel like you need to adjust your schedule, work with your advisor later on this afternoon, and ask questions today before transfer enrollment closes. So some advice for students coming from within the Virginia Community College system. As I said before, those of you who have earned either an Associate of Art, Associate of Science, or an Associate of Arts and Sciences from within the Virginia Community College system will earn the gen ed waiver. I do like to caution that there are still a couple degrees that are AS or AA degrees that aren't transferable. So you just want to make sure that you're earning one of those transferable associate's degrees to get that gen ed waiver. When you look in your degree progress, your academic requirements in your student center, once we see and get the transcript at JMU that shows that you earned your transfer degree, you'll see that your general education waiver is satisfied in your academic requirements. For those of you who maybe finish your degree requirements in the spring or finishing your degree requirements this summer, you may not see this yet in your academic requirements in your student center because we still haven't received that updated transcript that shows that associate's degree was conferred. As soon as we get that, you will see this updated in your student center. So don't worry if you're looking today and you see that it says not satisfied. It just means that we just need to get that final transcript over to JMU. So continue to check My Madison, and if you send that transcript over, continue to check that, and it will get updated as soon as we get that transcript at the registrar's office. For those of you who may have left the community college system, but were close to finishing a transferable associate's degree, like let's say you needed 6 credits more of electives, so 2 classes more to complete that associate's degree, it may make more sense to participate in something called reverse transfer, which essentially means you take the equivalent of those last couple electives at JMU. And then once you complete those courses at JMU, you transfer those credits back to your home community college to earn that associate's degree to then earn the gen ed waiver. Because our general education requirements are so specific, a lot of times that tends to make sense just to complete a couple remaining requirements at your community college to earn that waiver. I will say, if you have any questions about reverse transfer, because it can be complicated and confusing, please reach out to Kate and I. We can put our transfer advising email in the chat, and then we'll also be available this afternoon to answer any questions. For those of you who have already looked at your transfer credit report, hopefully most, if not all of you have, you may see some triple zero elective credits in there. Our transfer credit database for students who have come from within the Virginia Community College system, all those courses have been evaluated already. So if you're seeing those 000 credits in there, that means that the course you took at the community college is coming over as that 000 elective credit, which again, remember, you still need some electives, so they're not a bad thing, but those courses cannot be appealed. So they are going to stay as 000. And then a couple last minute graduation requirements. You need to have at least 120 credits total to graduate with a baccalaureate degree. 60 of those credits need to be from a four-year institution. So let's say you took 70 credits at your community college, you still have to earn at least 60 credits or 50% of your degree at JMU. So that doesn't mean you have less credits to complete here. And then at least 30 credits need to be from JMU specifically. So here's some advice for some students coming from out-of-state community colleges or four-year schools. You may be more likely, if you've taken a look at your transfer credit report, to see some of those 000 elective credits. Reason for that being is our transfer credit database is fairly new. It's still growing every semester, every year. And so as students are transferring in credit, that database is continually growing. So if you see a 000 elective credit, and you say in your mind, hey, I think this may count as a communications course for gen ed, you are going to need to fill out this appeals form on the registrar's website. The biggest thing just to keep in mind is if you want to appeal a course, you need to complete this form and attach the syllabus for that class. So if you want to appeal 3 classes or 3 courses, you're going to need to fill out this form 3 different times and attach the 3 syllabi. And so those 000s can be appealed if you see any of those on your transfer credit report. The same graduation rules apply for students coming from out of state. The 120 credits, 60 credits from a four-year institution, and then the 30 credits from JMU. Kate, I think this is you.
Lost control of my mouse for a minute, sorry. All right. So as Jennifer mentioned, hopefully you've all seen your transfer credit report, which you access in your student center. You will see a number of different categories in your credit report: posted credit, rejected credit, reasons for rejected credit. So everything that you've taken, for the most part, with the exception, I think, of developmental courses, are going to appear on your transfer credit report. So they will show you why a course did not make it onto your transcript. You have to have a C or higher in order to earn credit. So for those of you coming from schools who had a plus-minus grading system, a C- will not transfer. We have another rule where you have to, for certain courses, take more than one course. A multi-course requisite is required in order to earn specific credit. A very common example of this is the Virginia Community College System U.S. History 1 and 2, History 121 and 122. JMU's U.S. History is a 1-semester 4-credit course that covers everything that those 2 courses cover. So you need to have both of them in order to earn the HIS 225 credit. And usually what happens is you'll see a course is coming in as a 000, but it's going to look like at the very bottom, circled in red, you will see a 000 plus History 225 once the second course comes in and the registrar's office updates your your transfer credit report. You will also see your in-progress courses. So if you have not sent us your final spring transcript, your credit report can't be updated. So we need those final grades. Same with those of you who are finishing up in the summer. If you see credit there's no note or credit is still pending, that might be, if you're coming from outside the VCCS, because the course has been sent to the appropriate department for review. As Jennifer said, our credit database is 2.5 years old, I think. And we haven't seen every course from every college in the country or outside of the country. So as we get new courses coming in that we have not reviewed before, the registrar's office is sending those out to the appropriate department for review. And so it's just, keep checking your credit report. You can also check with the registrar because they are keeping track of all of these courses. And then once again, submit all your final transcripts. We can't say that enough times because invariably it happens every year that graduation is going to happen at JMU and your gen eds haven't been waived or we're missing credit because we never received your final transcript. So that's very important. So I want to talk to you a little bit about academic advising at JMU. It might look different than academic advising at your previous institution. You will have an assigned advisor. You have an assigned advisor because you signed up to come today in your major. So transfer students get major specific transfer advisors. And that's very important because that's a very good resource for you is your advisor, the person that you're going to meet later this afternoon, because they're going to help you navigate your major and degree requirements at JMU. What to expect at today's advising session. They're going to make sure that you have a schedule and review it. Learn how to apply for your major if that's applicable. There are some majors that you do need to extra steps to actually apply for them and how that looks. Courses that you'll need from now on to your path to graduation. They can talk to you about getting involved at JMU. JMU has 400 plus clubs and organizations, but each department also has ways for you to get involved in your major. So that might be something that you'd be interested in, as well as looking for research opportunities or internships and things of that nature. So reviewing your class schedule, if you're coming from a small school, JMU is not a small school, we're pretty big, we're spread out. So it's very important for you to make sure you can get from one building to another if you have back-to-back classes. So this is a very handy, can I walk to class on time chart. If you see the yellow triangle or the stop sign, you're not going to be able to go from those buildings, from one building to the other building in that column within 20 minutes. There are 20 minutes between classes. Many of those you can, but not all of them. There is the shuttle system that goes through campus periodically. That's pretty reliable from what I understand of other students talking about that. A lot of students will bring a bike. That's also an option. So that's very important. Just make sure, if you're not sure, ask your advisor. So something that you'll be taking later today is an incoming student skills and attitudes questionnaire. This is new to JMU, and it's going to, basically what it's going to do is it's going to measure these skills, these attributes that are in the column on the right. These are called soft skills. There are no wrong answers. We want to learn about you, and mainly what we want to learn about is how we can better help you. So what you'll do once you take this, you'll get a report in August. So that kind of outlines how you scored basically on all these attributes, and you'll have a number of strengths and potentially a number of challenges as how they categorize them. So for the challenges, then you will also get a list of resources at JMU to help you increase that challenge to a strength. So we're pretty excited about this. We think this is a really cool tool because it's going to help us help you better in terms of being successful at JMU. So after today, changing your major, you want to notify your advisor when you meet with them today, if that's something that you have not done ahead of time. And after Friday, July 22nd, tomorrow, you are going to have access in My Madison in your student center to change your major that way. If you need to change your schedule, your enrollment appointment is going to end at 11:59 tonight. And it won't open up again until August 1st. So next week it won't be available to you. So that's very, very important. If you need to adjust your schedule today, or you need to add a class or two, it's very important to try to get that done today, because we have support for you this afternoon. We have an enrollment lab, and we're not going to have that opportunity in August. And it is opening up in August for everybody. So all new transfer and first year students, as well as current students. So just some tips to be successful. Take advantage of faculty office hours. Take advantage of undergraduate research. JMU has quite a number of programs that offer undergrad research opportunities that really can help you build your skill set and your resume. I mentioned the vast number of clubs and organizations we have. There is a student org night, which will happen, I believe it's in the first week of classes once they begin, where all the clubs and orgs come out and you have the opportunity to just walk around and see what's available and talk to people. We have a Student Veteran Association. We have, there are opportunities for leadership on campus. We have many, many resources, academic and social. And we also want to mention career planning. That's very important for transfer students, because you're going to be spending a little less time than our native students at JMU. So for careers, these are 5 ways to be career ready. We want you to activate your Handshake account. That is Handshake is the way that you sign up for career appointments. You see who's coming for career fairs, maybe participate in mock interviews. That's an opportunity that's really helpful for students just to practice their interview skills. So we definitely want you all today to go to Handshake and join that, set up your account. Career Center, the University Career Center recommends scheduling a career advising appointment at least once a year, preferably once a semester, especially if you're junior or senior. That's very important. Attend the university career fairs every semester. There are a number of different opportunities. We have a lot of different kinds of employers for many different majors that come to campus for the career fairs. You want to connect your academics to your potential career paths, which makes perfect sense. Even if you change it down the road, you have no idea how all your academics, not just your major, but your electives, your minor, if you have a minor, are going to help connect to various career paths down the road. And definitely pursue internships and volunteer experiences. And the director of the University Career Center would say, do not pursue or do not accept an unpaid internship, because she said there are many paid internship opportunities. So seek those out first. And again, the way you find out about those opportunities is visiting the Career Center. All right, now we have some time for questions. We're very excited to have you here. So if you do have questions, we are happy to entertain them. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Do we have any Q&As?
I answered a couple, but we could go back and I could answer them live just so you all can hear the answers to some of these questions. The first one is, so which graduating class are we in? Good question. I responded back, it really depends on your major. So this is a conversation you're going to want to have with your advisor or this afternoon. Some of our majors, you may be here for 2 years if you're coming in after a couple years, and you'll be able to get out of here in 2 years. Some of our majors take a little bit longer to complete. A lot of our majors have progression standards. There may be a prerequisite course that you have to take first before you can fully be admitted to the major. Obviously, if you're going into a theater or art or music major, there's an audition piece. And so it really depends on your major and how long it's going to take you to get through those degree requirements here at JMU. So good conversation to have with your advisor, who is your best advocate, your best resource here this afternoon. The other question was, when are we going to get our final transcript from the Virginia Community College system? For those of you who finished up your requirements or classes in the spring, go ahead and send that transcript as soon as you can, because we want to get your spring grades and those courses posted on your transfer credit report. If you may be taking classes this summer, you can wait until those classes are completed to send that transfer credit report. If you've earned an associate's degree, you graduated from the community college system in May, go ahead and send that transcript over as soon as you can so we can get that gen ed waiver noted in your academic requirements. It is something you all have to request through Parchment. So it's not something that just happens automatically. It's something you have to go in and request and have sent. And they can range in cost from anywhere, I think, from about $5 to $10, depending on the community college you're coming from.
All right, I've just answered a couple, and then we have taking a summer course I just finished. Should I request an official transcript from my community college, even though the grade has not yet been placed? You can request it and say hold for final grades if that's an option. And if that's not an option, just wait until the grade has been posted. And is it okay to get the Jack card on the day of moving in? Yeah, that's fine. Yep, absolutely. And so your credit, my credit report says in progress for all my spring 2022 semester courses. When will I find out if they transfer over or not? It should have the equivalent listed unless those courses are not in our database. So if the equivalent is not listed, it means it's not in our database, and the registrar would have sent that out to the right departments. Any advice for night classes? You might have to take a night class.
I will tell you, I was a transfer student back in the day. One of my very favorite classes was an astronomy class, and it was Thursday nights from 7 to 9:40. And I still remember it. I'm not going to age myself to tell y'all how long ago that was, but there's, night classes. We offer night classes Monday through Thursday. I don't think we do Friday nights. But you very well may need to do a night class over this time. Yeah, we haven't touched on that much. I think it's important as you're building your schedule this fall semester. Please be flexible, be open-minded. You guys are coming in after our native students have already enrolled in classes. So yes, we held back seats. We're going to try to get you the best schedule we can, but you may have to have an 8 a.m. class, and you may have to have back-to-back classes, and those things, you'll be able to tweak a little bit more once you're here at JMU this fall and you registering with everybody else for your spring semester courses. But we do really ask that you guys are flexible and just try to get the best schedule that you can this semester to have that strong progression towards your graduation and for your major. So again, another great conversation to have with your advisor this afternoon.
And so we have somebody who started last fall, but is just now returning. And I don't know. I don't think you get a new Jack card. I think they probably have your picture still on file. So you just, if you still have your Jack card, it should be activated. But that's a great question for maybe somebody in orientation. I bet they would know, or card services. Yeah, but I don't think you need to get a new one. And are there plenty of clubs to join at JMU? Yes.
Yes.
Over 400, I'm pretty sure. Isn't that the number?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are so many clubs, so many opportunities. And Student Org Night is your go-to, because that's when they all will be out on campus for you to go around and talk to and ask questions and learn about. How do we find the transfer credit report? It is in My Madison, in your student center, in the drop-down menu. And it's transfer credit report. It's right there.
And I will go ahead to now that I'm thinking about it, I will put in our transfer advising email address for you all. At jmu.edu. So you all feel free to reach out with us if you guys have any questions on top of using your advisor as a resource. But we are still here to help ease some of that transition. Again, if you have questions the remainder of the summer as you're starting this fall, for those of you who may have questions about reverse transfer, please reach out to us. Kate and I monitor that email daily. And so we get back to you pretty quickly through there.
And so how will I get my JAC card if I was never on campus? That's a good question. You can upload a copy or a photo of yourself. It's in your OneBook steps, okay? So you need to just go back into your OneBook and upload a photo if you want to do that, or you can visit Card Services when you do come to campus and have your picture taken on campus, and then you'll get your JAC card. It usually takes about a day.
So we have a question about not having a chance yet to sign up for classes. Will you have the opportunity to do that today? Yes, definitely going to want to go ahead and get some classes on your schedule today, because as Kate mentioned, your enrollment appointment is going to close this evening at 11:59, and then it stays closed until open enrollment, which starts August 1st for everyone in the university. And so today is the day you're really going to want to lock down that schedule. You'll be meeting with your advisor, will be available to help you guys tweak some things. So yes, definitely going to be able to register for some classes today.
And another question about the JAC card. I think you need to pick it up here. I don't believe that we mail the JAC cards out. So you can pick it up if you happen to be on campus before you move in or start classes. You can certainly do that, or you can wait until you're coming to campus. That's fine.
And there's a question about when are transcripts due. Just send them over as soon as possible once your final grades are posted. That's the biggest piece of advice, so we can get everything updated on our end. And so, Kate and I have students that we work with every year who they're about to graduate from JMU and they still don't see that gen ed waiver in their academic requirements, and because they never sent that final transcript. And so just make sure whenever your grades are posted, whenever your associate's degree is conferred, or if you're coming from a four-year institution, whenever your grades are posted, if you're taking classes this summer, send those transcripts over as soon as you can once those grades are posted.
And you send them to undergraduate admissions.
Yes.
That was another question, because you remember your admission is contingent upon successful completion of the spring courses and summer courses. So they need to see your final transcript, and then they will send it to the registrar's office to update your transfer credit report. So the JAC card, I think you would go to Card Services, which is in the Student Success Center on the second floor. That's where Card Services is. Any other questions? A lot of good questions.
Lots of good ones, yeah.
If you take religious studies at a religious institution, is that possibly transferable? It depends on the content of the course. So it would need to be, if it's not in our database, it would need to be reviewed by the Philosophy and Religion department. But we have a Philosophy and Religion department, so it is entirely possible that it could transfer. And then I'm a visual arts major, and one of my major classes is choice for a gen ed cluster. Yes, gen ed courses that also count for your major will double count. Yes.
And the question about meeting with your advisor today, I think it is really, and Kate, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it really depends on your major. For those of you who may, right, but as far as meeting one-on-one, some of your majors, they may be doing group advising, and then they'll break out and talk with you all individually. But yes, you'll be having a one-on-one conversation with your advisor today. But every major is allowed to kind of do things a little differently. A lot go over an overview of the major in and of itself, talk about internship opportunities, what neat things you can do within your degree, and then they break out and meet with you guys one-on-one to talk about your fall schedule and your classes.
Oh, driving from one building to the other. No.
No. We have a lot of
Oh,
students, oh, sorry.
no,
We have a
you,
lot of students that take their bikes. We have a lot of ride the scooters. There's a shuttle that goes through campus
mhm.
that will take students from Bluestone over to the east side of campus. And so there's a lot of different ways to get around.
If you want to drive, you have to factor in hunting for parking, quite frankly. Let's just be honest. So that can be an issue.
Yeah. And another thing we didn't touch on, and I just want to, for those of you who you may have an online class throughout the day, make sure you have a place that you can, or if you can make it back home or your apartment or dorm, that you have a place to do that online course if you're going from an in-person to an online, just that you have the capability to make sure you can participate in that class in a comfortable space. And I think that's about it. We have another few minutes. If you guys can think of anything else, there is no silly question. Yes, if you want to drive and you live off campus, you will need a parking pass to park on campus. All right, everybody. Well, we are so glad you joined us this afternoon. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about what to expect for this fall, what to expect for the rest of your day today. I know you all are meeting with your TOPAs at about 1 o'clock. And so you'll have a good conversation with them. Those are your transfer peer advisors that will be able to navigate you guys with a lot of great advice for the upcoming semester.
We have another question.
Yep.
When do the off-campus shuttles start to back up? Boy. Well, so you're talking about the city bus system, which is free to JMU students. And yeah, it's on a modified summer schedule if I'm correct about that.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably around move-in, which starts August 19th.
Mm-hmm.
For first year students. I would say that week, most likely. That's a good TOPA question though. They are more familiar with navigating campus than we are. If you're living off campus but need a parking pass, what kind of parking pass would you buy? A commuter parking pass. Yep. A lot of off-campus housing complexes are close to JMU. And the bus system, as I said, is free. So that is also an option if you want to have a car available, but you may not want to pay for the parking. If you're living on campus, transfer students, I believe, are moving in Sunday, the 21st. And Residence Life has tons of information about move-in day. They have a whole page on move-in and what to expect and what to bring. So I would definitely look at the Residence Life website for that. If you signed a housing contract, contact Res Life.
Mm-hmm.
I think the email is res-life@jmu.edu about your housing contract, because you had to answer questions about roommates, and that's how they match you with a roommate. Classes don't begin the 22nd. They
Mm-hmm.
begin Wednesday, the 24th.
There are events though, the 22nd and the 23rd. You'll learn more about that, but just as you guys move in and get transitioned, there are events those couple days for students.
I don't know when student org night is. I'm not sure, but it's usually that first week, and it's in the evening.
All right, everybody. Thank you again for joining us today. We're thrilled you're here. We look forward to seeing you all on campus this fall, and have fun meeting with your TOPAs in about 15 minutes.
Have a great rest of your day, and we can't wait to see you on campus.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.